And once again, welcome to yet another exciting edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live, as you are listening to us on Noonan's own WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. We have got a great show for you today, as it is Tuesday. I'm going to drop my top 10 NFL teams, kind of like what Colin Cowherd does for the herd hierarchy. I got some surprises in there. I'll have that later on the show. We had a very special doubleheader on Monday Night Football, and we also going to have a Monday Night Football doubleheader next week as well. The Buffalo Bills, they dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Josh Allen has 4 touchdown passes. Damar Hamlin gets his first interception in his NFL career. Congratulations to him. Doug Peterson is on the hot seat. Does Jacksonville go after Bill Belichick? I mean, come on. You got to try to go after Bill Belichick. I think that the Jaguars are finished. 0-3. Trent Baalke, their general manager, who used to be the 49ers general manager, I'm kind of laughing about that. But I don't want to gloat too much because the 49ers are snake bitten right now with all the injuries. They're piling up. The Washington Commanders, they go to 2-1. Jaden Daniels doing pretty good as a rookie. He had 2 touchdown passes. He also had a touchdown run. And the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-3. I mean, they got T. Higgins back. Joe Burrow, he's 0-3. And the Bengals were one of my favorites that could possibly represent the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. Not a good sign if you are a Bengals fan. All right, well, we have WNBA playoffs today as the Atlanta Dream, Game 2, taking on the New York Liberty. And then you got the Seattle Storm. They are down 1-0 and taking on the Las Vegas Aces. So I have a special announcement. As many of you know, I was teasing that I'm going to be at a sporting event this week. So I do plan on attending the Texas League Championship. Game 2 between the Midland Rockhounds and the Arkansas Travelers is taking place up in North Little Rock at Dickey Stevens Park. And first pitch is going to be 7 o'clock. The Arkansas Travelers trail that series 1-0. And they will have a if necessary game on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. I've always enjoyed minor league baseball. I can't wait until the Columbus Cleanstones come play at Synovus Park, which it got me just excited about this idea that I don't think anybody's ever thought of, because, you know, I've been very involved with the Southern Baseball League. I would love to see interleague play in minor league baseball. I would love to see like the Arkansas Travelers taking on the Birmingham Barons or the Columbus Cleanstones. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Hey, Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are 2 back from the New York Mets. They have got a massive series, 3-game series at Truist Park, taking on the New York Mets. This is like a playoff matchup for the Atlanta Braves. Here's what the pitching matchups look like. Spencer Schwallenbach is going up against Luis Severino. The Mets, who've always seem to collapse in September, they're just playing with a different sense of urgency. Not since the 2015 Mets that went to the World Series has this version of the Mets played this hard. And, when you have the polar bear, Pete Alonso, 34 home runs, Francisco Lindor, they spent a lot of money on free agents. And the New York Mets are able to hold on, and they have a 2-game lead. The Braves play the Mets very well. The Braves are hoping for a sweep. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks lost to the Giants last night, so they are a game and a half above the Atlanta Braves. That's another team that I would watch out for, is the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Atlanta Braves, I think that they'll have a good series against the New York Mets. And then they close out the regular season against the Kansas City Royals as the Atlanta Braves, trying to make that postseason push. They have not missed out on the playoffs since 2017. They've had just an incredible run. And anyway, it's about that time. Like Colin Cowherd does on his show every Tuesday, it's called the Herd Hierarchy. Well, I'm not going to call it that. It's my top 10 NFL teams. Let's throw up that graphic. This is according to me. There we go. Starting at number 10, the Houston Texans. They did lose to the Minnesota Vikings, but I still think that the Houston Texans are a very good team. And when they get Joe Mixon back from injury, I think that their run game is going to get going. C.J. Stroud had a 2-interception game, which was very rare. But he has weapons. I love their coach, DeMeco Ryans. I love just their offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick. The Houston Texans have really built a culture there that is sustainable. And even though they're 2-1, with the Jaguars 0-3, the Titans 0-3, and the Colts, I think the Colts are 1-2. I'm trying to think. I think that the Indianapolis Colts would be the next threat to the Houston Texans. Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts are 1-2. So I think that the Houston Texans run away with this division. I got them at 2-1. The Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Joe Alt's going to be out for a while. Their left tackle that they picked in the first round, he's got an MCL sprain, and they were banged up. That's why they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they have a tough test as they will take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the battle for the AFC West. I still think that Jim Harbaugh is making the difference. I mean, the weakness that the Chargers had going into this season was they didn't have any receivers. Well, Ladd McConkey has stepped up as a rookie. And then Quentin Johnson. I mean, he was a bust last year. The talented wide receiver from TCU is coming out of nowhere to put up big numbers for the Chargers. Number 8, the Saints drop a little bit after losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, but they could have easily won that game. I don't know what happened to the Saints in this game. They were the most explosive offense the first 2 weeks of the season, and they were just a shell of themselves. The Eagles, you got to give credit to their defense for stopping the Saints. Well, guess what? The Saints ended up playing the Falcons in Atlanta. That's going to be a very fun, exciting game. Number 7, the Seattle Seahawks. First time 3-0 since 2020. If you're a Seahawks fan, I mean, this is about as exciting as it gets. Not since the days of the Legion of Boom has the Seattle Seahawks been this competitive and been just a dominant team so far in the beginning of the season. I admit they really haven't played anybody, but I still think that the Seahawks are a good team, and that's why I got them here on the list. They'll play the Lions next. That's going to be a big game. New to my rankings, and a lot of people are not really believers of this team, but if you look at their division, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-0. I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, you got to be happy as you're waking up and seeing that the Ravens are 0-3, the Bengals are 0-3, the Browns are 1-2. The Steelers right now have a 2-game lead in the division. And Justin Fields, I can't believe the Bears got rid of this guy. Justin Fields in the right offense looks great. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make the playoffs, and they have the best defense in the NFL. Let's just be real about that. And Justin Fields is the type of quarterback who's not going to lose you the game. I think the Steelers, they found a diamond in the rough getting Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. Although, I mean, he wasn't a very good head coach in Atlanta, he's a pretty good offensive coordinator. Look what he did in Tennessee. Got them to the AFC Championship. So he's doing good. The Steelers are 3-0. They're ranked 6th in my rankings. Number 5, the Detroit Lions, who got a big win on the road against the Arizona Cardinals, which I'm scratching my head on that game against the Buccaneers. I thought that, the Lions looking like they could be the best team in the NFC. I mean, Jared Goff, it just looks poised. I mean, he has weapons all around him, and that defense stepping up when it matters the most. This is not a one-hit wonder. This Lions team is sustainable. They are going to make a run in the playoffs. They're not going to be one of these teams like, hey, we got to the NFC Championship, great, and, they fall off. But I do want to warn people, they're in a very tough division. Now with the resurgence of the Vikings and Jordan Love's going to come back from the injury, Green Bay's 2-1. I don't have them in my rankings, but Green Bay is right on the doorstep, especially since Jordan Love is going to come back. All right, number 4, the most surprised team in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings. How are they doing it? Well, Sam Darnold, who has been a cast-off in New York, it didn't work out in Carolina. He was Brock Purdy's backup in San Francisco. He's getting his shot because J.J. McCarthy went out with an injury. He's out for the season. The Vikings wanted to just get rid of Kirk Cousins. They didn't want to pay that contract. And the Vikings, who have a very good offensive coach in Kevin O'Connell, has a great defensive coordinator in Brian Flores. The Vikings might be the best overall around team, the overall good team as far as offense, defense, and special teams. And the Minnesota Vikings, who play the Packers next, I think that it's in Lambeau. So, if the Packers win that, I got to put the Packers in my rankings next week. That's going to be a good game. That's one of those must-see games that I just want to sit on the couch and watch on my phone. I know that's kind of funny, but, I do have NFL Red Zone, so I love doing that. So, number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. And, yes, they're 2-1. They should be 3-0. If Saquon Barkley catches that pass against Atlanta, the Eagles are 3-0. They have the most high-priced free agent in the offseason. Saquon Barkley has been a difference maker. He's making Jalen Hurts' job a lot easier, and the Eagles are doing it without A.J. Brown. They lose their best weapon, and you think the Eagles are ordinary, but Dallas Goedert catches passes. Jalen Hurts finds ways to get his receivers involved, and Saquon Barkley is just the ultimate eraser. He's one of those players that could just take over a game on his own. And the defense is actually playing decent. I know that a lot of Eagles fans do not like Nick Sirianni. In fact, he is on the hot seat. And when you replace your coordinators like the Eagles did last season, it is hard to have a vote of confidence to try to bring your coach back. And Nick Sirianni is not really winning over ownership. I don't know if he's won over the locker room, but so far so good. Eagles are 2-1. Let's see if they can keep that up. Number 2, and the reason why I don't have them number 1, because you can't knock off the 2-time champs. But the Buffalo Bills are probably the closest to knocking off the Chiefs. Easier said than done. Should have done it last year when they faced the Chiefs in the divisional round at home. And if only their kicker makes a field goal, that game goes tied. Josh Allen is proven he's just as good as Patrick Mahomes. And I love it when these two quarterbacks battle it out because that is must-watch TV. Buffalo looks more confident this year. They don't have the struggles on offense because they have an offensive coordinator in Joe Brady, which Josh Allen is not doing it all by himself. James Cook is starting to become a featured back. Not having Stephon Diggs, no problem. Keon Coleman, he can catch passes. And Buffalo has probably the best overall team. I said Minnesota in the NFC. I think Buffalo in the AFC has probably got the best overall team. And I think this is Buffalo's time. I really do. It is hard to three-peat. I think the Buffalo Bills can knock off the Kansas City Chiefs. And my number one team, until proven otherwise, they have been the most lucky 3-0 team in the history of the NFL, but they're still number one because they are the two-time champs. It is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to say it like I said on yesterday's show. That was clearly pass interference on Kyle Pitts. But the Chiefs won anyway. And there's a lot of hate towards the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, I'm guilty of this because the Chiefs remind me of the Patriots and what the Patriots did for 20 years. The Patriot way. It's starting to become the Chiefs way. And it's not just because of Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce is a shell of himself. He's getting up there in age. He's not the explosive tight end that he used to be. It's the defense that's carrying the Kansas City Chiefs. When you have Nick Bolton making a big stop on Bijan Robinson, when you have Chris Jones batting balls down at the line of scrimmage, the Chiefs are just incredible. McDuffie, a great shutdown corner. Harrison Buckner, a clutch kicker. It's Andy Reid. It's Steve Spagnuolo. It's just that Chiefs culture, and that's why they are my number one team on my top 10 NFL teams. I really just enjoy having this list. It's fun. I get to do this every Tuesday. And, they say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I do it because I'm a huge fan of Colin Cowherd. And, of course, Josh Pate's got the JP poll for college football. By the way, I have a very special episode of the Sports Beat that's going to air Wednesday night in lieu of the big Georgia-Alabama game that's taking place this Saturday in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to have a special preview show for the Georgia-Alabama game that's coming up this Saturday, which will include the last 8 matchups, breaking down just the game film and the matchups between these two powerhouses. It's like Ali Frazier. It is a just heavyweight match that I cannot wait for this Saturday. So stay tuned. Wednesday night, that's tomorrow night, I will have my special preview show on Georgia and Alabama. Well, this has been fun. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I've got my recap show for high school football that's airing on Georgia Alabama Sports Live's Facebook page and YouTube channel. That is coming up next. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you next time.